Hello, I am Lizzy with Long Distance Gamers. We are a group of friends who play games remotely due to us living in different states. Today we will be talking about Dice Hospital. What do I think about it? And more importantly, how do we play it remotely? Now before we get started, there are two different sides. The running side, they for sure have a copy of the game and they play the game mostly like normal. The remote side may or may not have a copy of the game. We will be going over how the remote side sets up and how the remote side responds to the game. So this is Dice Hospital set up for remote play for 3 players. The first thing we do is we separate out the dice into the 3 colors and all of the nurses into the different colors, as well as set up each of the player boards. Next, we separate all the rooms by the color as well as the potential nurses that we'll be getting. We also have a stack for the administrators that the running side will go ahead and give us our 2 that we have to choose from. We will go ahead and choose one of them. So I'll choose this guy. And I will put him right here. And then I will just say I will choose Louis Pasteur. And maybe Kitty chooses Rita. And Brooksy chooses Elizabeth. We also have the 4 ambulances, which would love to get these painted. They are on the to-do list. But bear in mind, these are the deluxe components. What you would get in the game are nice cards, essentially like these, just with 1 through 5. If you are the only side with a copy, I would recommend sending everybody a picture of this, so that way they could write down on a piece of paper these rooms easier, with enough room to just put a piece. Which, if you are a remote side without a copy, I would recommend just getting a piece of paper, as well as I just used these meeples that I bought on Amazon. You could use other pieces from other games, just anything to represent your workers. And I would get a variety of colors so that you could easily distinguish between them. Also, if you are the only side with a copy, I would send them a picture of this front and back. Which the front side is showing what the turn sequence is, as well as the scoring for however many patients you can discharge at once. And then the back side is what the symbology means throughout. Most of this is common sense. So our group just has this on display, and we actually have it set up so that it is always on display in that corner so that anyone can easily reference it without having to jump to their phone to look at a picture. Also, if you are a remote side without a copy, I would recommend you getting multiple dice of different colors. At least enough to be able to fill your player board, or maybe another person on your side. That way you would be able to keep track of your dice. Once everyone is set up, we are ready to go. Whoever is running the game will dictate the order that our people and our additional rooms come out in. So since this is a 3-player game, we'll be getting 2 people and 2 room potentially every round. So they would go ahead and just say what color it is first. Which, bear in mind, this is not particularly a colorblind friendly way to organize these. So if you are colorblind, you might want to either denote them by the facial features and separate them out in that way. Maybe glasses, non-glasses, male, female. Whatever way works best for you. I'm not colorblind, so I just divide them up by the color. So for instance, if we had a yellow radiologist, a red anesthesiologist, for the rooms, we could have a green immunology, and a brown training department, for instance. So we would pull these out. If you do have an up-close camera, especially if you are the side running the game, I would put them on the up-close camera. So that way all sides can easily see what they are and be able to respond better than having them just on the table, where the camera can distort the images a little bit and make it a little bit harder to see. Once you have pulled these out, then it is time to roll the dice. So the side that is running the game will go ahead and pull the dice out of the bag and roll them. If there is a decision for the dice, because the lowest ones will go in 1 up to 4. So for instance, if we have this for our dice, we have to re-roll the 1s and the 6s. So this one would have needed to be re-rolled until there are no longer any 1s or 6s. So we would get all the 2s over here. And then 3s. And then we have some decisions for these 4s. So whoever is first player will say what 2 colors they want to come over here, whether it be 2 yellows, a yellow and a green, or whatnot. So we'll just say they chose a red and a green. So those will come over here, and then these will come here. Oh, and we were supposed to re-roll this as well. Okay, so that's another one. So maybe they decided that they wanted the green here. It's a lot of 4s. Okay, so then we have the ambulances in a row. Whoever is first player will go ahead and say it. So say Kitty had started being the first player. Then she will go ahead and grab whichever one of these she wants. The highest ones are the closest to being put out, but they do give you last choice of these. Now, Kitty wants to play it fairly safe, so she'll go ahead and take the 2. So she'll say she's going to take the ambulance 2. And then it would be my turn. I do want to guarantee that I'll be able to get one of these people, but I really don't want that 2. I'm going to bet that Brixie's not going to take it. So I'm going to go ahead and take the ambulance 3 in front of me. And then Brixie has to decide if he wants to for sure go last or take ones that are really close to death. He doesn't want the ones that are really close to death, so he will go ahead and go last. So since Kitty has the lowest number, she again is first player. So then she gets one of these medical packs. So she'll get to choose between one of these. If she takes one of the people, she will also go ahead and get a matching nurse to go ahead and go with it. If she chooses one of the buildings, she would just simply add it to her hospital. So she is not looking good for either of these 2 people. So maybe instead she will actually, yeah, she's going to go ahead and do this, because if she sends someone here, she would be able to get to increase 2 of the same dice, both up 1. And since it does not matter where you place it, any side that is playing the game that has a copy can go ahead and just put it over there. And then Kitty, if she does not have a copy, would just write down that she has 2 equals with +1s, another worker placement spot. And then me, I really like this because I have a lot of the same numbers. So if I take this one, if I treat a yellow, which I have, I could treat any other color or even a yellow that is the same number as the one I treated. The same. So I'm going to go ahead and take this. So I'll have another worker. And then these do get placed immediately into a ward, and then they get put back over there. If there ever comes a time that you cannot place one, you would have to put whichever one you want to take off of your ward and put them into your morgue to be able to make room for your new ones. Your new ones never go directly to the morgue. It's always someone that is already there. And then Brixby, he could choose this one. He would get another worker. It wouldn't really benefit him, but nor would this one. So he'll just go ahead and get another worker, thinking, well, maybe it might be beneficial later on. He could always send it over to this spot, increase a 5 or a 6. Once that is done, these will just get discarded, as well as the die. I just put the dice back over here because I don't like knowing the probability of them coming back out. And then the next step is simultaneous. So if you are a side without a copy, this is when I would go ahead and use my meatballs and just place them on the squares that I have written on a board, on a piece of paper, whatever writing utensil I choose to use. And then I would also use my dice and increase them and decrease them as so, leaving the ones that are not treated separate from the ones that are, as if you don't treat one, their value goes down by 1 at the end of the round. We go ahead and we work through all of these. I will definitely be sending my yellow guy over to here, so I can increase a yellow to a 5, and then any to a 5. I'll go ahead and do that. I can send someone to a green and increase it to a 6. I could send someone over to the 4, 5 to increase this to a 5. And then I could send someone up here to the 5, 6. I could take the 6 so that it could get discharged. However, discharging 1 would only get me 1 point. So I would rather increase one of my yellow dice to a 6. And then once everybody is done, you just state whatever it is that you do. So say Kitty was able to get this one up to a 6, this one up to a 5, and she wasn't able to treat this one, so that one would just stay up there. And then Brooksy was actually able to discharge all 3 of his. So now we have to do neglect. Since Kitty didn't treat this one, this has to go down to a 3. And then all of the dice can move back up just for the next round. And then since Brooksby was able to discharge 3 of his dice, he will get 5 points. And with his administration, and since he was the one to discharge the most this round, he does get an additional point. So we are a little bit behind him right now. These go back over here. We move this. And then it does say whoever is first player does go ahead and pull these out, as well as these new buildings. However, it is still the side running the game. We also return all of our nurses back to their stations. And then we are ready to start a new round. The game continues on like this until the end of the 8th round. Once the 8th round is complete, whoever has the most points is the winner. You do lose points for every person you have to send to the morgue, as well as you get 1 point for every blood pack you have left at the end of the game. If there's a tie, whoever has the fewest patients left is the winner. If there is still a tie, then it would be whoever has the highest PIP number left. So whoever is the closest to discharging their patients. That is how you play Dice Hospital remotely. As you can see, with a few minor tweaks, you can easily play this game with only 1 copy. All it takes is a little bit of pen and paper, and maybe a little bit of patience when it comes to revealing the new cards throughout the game. Instead of just saying it is a triage nurse, you might have to, if someone is not having a copy, explain what it is, or again, just put it up to the camera so that everyone can easily see it. This is a game that I really enjoy. I love getting to figure out the puzzle of how can I get the most patients put out in a single round. Do I want to release all my patients as soon as possible? Of course, we all do. We don't want to see someone be sick for longer than they need to. However, we also want the most points, so sometimes hanging on to a 6 for 1 more round so that you can output it with 3 or 4 dice instead of outputting it by itself would be beneficial in the end. I do love the care that they took in showing different types of people throughout their artwork as far as the people goes. And every room has a dice somewhere on it. Like right there, it has a dice right there. It's so cute. It is cute. It's a nice little touch. It makes it, very much a Dice Hospital feel. Dice Hospital actually gets a 9.5 out of 10. So it is a fantastic experience, and I highly recommend you getting and picking up a copy. Even if you don't have a gaming group that is close by, you can easily play this game from states away. But until next time, have fun and be you. Thank you all for watching. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to reach out to us. We would love to hear from you.